Well, we got a bit of a situation here with the 4Runner today, and the VSC lights came on in the dash. And so the VSC and the traction warning lights come on this side, and then also the ABS warning light was on that side, but there was no check engine light. With these 4Runners, typically if you have a code for a check engine light, it'll light the check engine light, but then it'll also light up all the VSC lights over here, these yellow ones, just to, I guess, like really get your attention. But in this case, the check engine light's not on, and I scanned it for codes, there's nothing. So I don't have a scan tool that reads ABS codes, and the thing is, it probably would just show up some kind of random ABS code anyways, and it's not actually going to tell me what in the system is wrong. So I turned to the forums, as I always do. And basically, from what I understand, there can be a couple of reasons for this on these 4Runners. Now, if you start the engine and the lights come on right away, then you're going to want to look into a 0-point calibration. That's a different problem. In this case, I can start the truck and the lights won't be on, and they'll come on after driving a little while, or sometimes they won't come on at all. Sometimes they come on right away. And so that leads me to believe that it's a brake light switch, or stop light switch, sometimes they call it, which is really good news because that's actually a really cheap, really quick, really easy fix. You can actually probably fix this in about 5 minutes. So if you can see here, this little blue connection right here, this is your brake light switch. So it's connected to your brake pedal, and this is essentially how your brake lights know when to light up when you hit the brakes. So I'm going to assume that this is getting a little worn out, and it's a little dirty maybe inside, a little sticky, and for some reason the 4Runner is thinking that it needs to be replaced, and so it's lighting up those lights in the dash to warn me before it gets to the point where my brake lights stop working and it becomes like a real safety hazard. So I've got a new brake light switch for it. We're going to pop this one out today and pop a new one in and see if it fixes it. So of course my light just died, but anyways, this should be quick and easy enough anyways. Just going to disconnect this blue connector, wiggle it free, and then we just turn the whole switch counterclockwise to get it out. So, and we drop it down. There's our brake light switch. So I got another one of these here in the garage. Ordered it ahead of time. I actually just ordered it on Amazon, actually. Not too worried about having like a genuine Toyota part on this. This one seemed to have good reviews. They're cheap. They were like, I think it was like less than 30 bucks. So as you can see, our brake light switch, same thing. Now, we can get rid of this black plastic thing because that's still mounted inside the 4Runner. That's, I guess, how it clips in. So we get rid of that, and we're just going to use the new switch. So this should be identical, same idea, switchy. So this one, I don't know, it doesn't look super dirty or super sticky, but this one is a little smoother, a little, I don't know, feels newer. So this must not be getting the proper amount of feedback or something. It doesn't seem like the connections are too bad in it or anything. Like it's not burnt or corroded or anything. So we'll try this and see if it fixes it. And I'll go ahead and put the part number for this down in the description for you guys so you can find the same one if you're having a similar problem. Again, I just got it on Amazon. So this is a Beck Arnley, whatever that is, but I think it's the same one that they use on a lot of Toyota models. It's not just 4Runner specific, so it should be pretty easy for you to find. All right, let's pop this new one in. Obviously, it's the exact same way that it came out. One thing though is, I think you're probably going to want to plug the harness in first before you try and plug the switch back in. Just because it can be a little bit hard to get the wire to reach, like to wrap around in order to plug it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in first. Okay, so I had a bit of a weird fitment issue with the new switch. This is the housing of the new switch right here. The white one is the new one. And when I was putting it up into its position, I couldn't turn it, and it wouldn't clip in. It would just keep falling back out even when I clicked it. It wouldn't actually engage. And I checked, and these threads, the design, I put the two switches side by side, they look identical. They're exactly the same, and yet the original gray one would plug in and I could clip it in and it would stay there. This one, I plug it in, if I clip it, it falls back out. So I'm not sure what kind of, maybe there's a manufacturing defect in the plastic or something. So anyways, my solution was I just took the old switch apart and the new one apart, and just these tabs, one on each side. I pried these with a screwdriver, just like this. Just carefully, you don't want to break the plastic or anything, but I just pried it open and opened up the actual switch. And so you can see the internals here. It's very basic. It's just like a spring on the one side, and then this is the actual, all the connections in here. I took all of the internals and just basically swapped all of the new ones into the old plastic casing. So the internals in this one right now, these are all the original ones. These are the worn out ones from the 4Runner. And I have the new ones that came in this white switch swapped into the old gray housing, and it popped right back in, clipped in place, and it's good to go. So food for thought. I don't know if there's an issue with these switches from Amazon, or if maybe I just got a bad one, but I fumbled with it for a while. This should be a 5-minute fix, and it just would not clip in place. So that's my solution. Still end up with a new switch. It's just we're reusing the old plastic casing. Okay, moment of truth. So I've got the new one, well, the new old one, the old one with the new internals plugged back in. And let's see if our dash lights are turned off now. There we go. And it looks like we're fixed. So I'm going to drive it around a little bit and just make sure that they don't turn back on, but it looks like it was just a simple brake light switch. So even with the issue of the bad fitting switch, still wasn't a difficult job. This is still very straightforward, very easy. Worst case scenario, you just got to swap the housing over with the old one, so we're good.